My name is John Wong. I am director of the Montgomery Scholars Program. And again, thank you for coming here today to learn about the program. Okay, so what is the Montgomery Scholars Program? I'm here to give you a quick overview. You have the agenda, of course, in the handout. I'll give you a quick overview, and you also hear from our students, alum, our counselor, kind of get a full sense of the program. Okay, and of course, we'll answer any questions you may have at the end. So what is the program? We are Interdisciplinary Scholars Program, and we provide a 2-year merit scholarship to our students. Okay? So it is a selective process. Unlike the general Montgomery College admissions, we select 25 students per year for our programs. Okay? These are generally high-achieving students who are looking to continue their academic progress and achievement in an honors program, and we expect generally our students to go on to transfer to a 4-year college or university. Okay, so it's a 2-year merit scholarship. We cover 30 hours of study per year, so it's a full load per year, and it is a merit scholarship, so it does not depend on your economic status or your income. If you get in, you get that scholarship, no matter who you are. Right? So there's that. We offer, in particular, a cohort experience. Okay? What that means is this is a program that's specifically designed to have the students come in together and go through the program together. It is not like a typical college environment where you show up to campus and you sign up for different classes and then you just go to those classes on your own. What we did was we curated a very set course, set number of classes, and our students come in through these honors classes together. Okay, the idea is to build a community, build support through having this close knit experience. So that's what the cohort experience means. And we also teach our classes through learning communities. These are technical terms, so I'm going to try to get through, kind of give you an idea of what that means. So typically, when you go to a college or university, um, whatever your major is, they'll ask you to fulfill some requirements, like an arts distribution, social science distribution, um, humanities distribution, and you just go ahead and pick out the classes you want from those distributions, and then you fulfill those requirements, okay, on your own. And the idea is it gives you a well-rounded background, taking these classes from different fields, and then on your own you make connections. I learned something from this class, and something from that class, and then you kind of fill in your experience accordingly. What we did was we designed a special curriculum for our students where we take these requirements, these distributions, and we built a curriculum around them with our own classes that are taught together. Okay. So you take a literature class, a history class, a world music class, anthropology class, yes, but they're not on their own. They are taught by our faculty together. Okay. They work on the curriculum together, they work on the syllabi together, they work on the lessons together, so everything's integrated into a full, complete learning experience. Okay. It's a very unique offering, and again, specific for our students. This is something that only our students get to participate in, and not other Montgomery College students. Okay. So we offer our core curriculum in learning community, which help builds the cohort experience. And what you end up with is a 2-year curriculum in which the students come out of it with 24 to 27 honors credits, depending on whether you have to take an English 1-2 class or not. And what that does is when you apply for a transfer college, when you apply to transfer to college or university, they look at your transcript here and they see all these honors courses on there. Okay, when compared to other students who are also transferring to these institutions, our students have that edge then of having completed an honors curriculum and demonstrated their ability, and makes them more appealing to these universities. Right? Frequently, our students end up in schools with partial or full scholarships as a result, right? Because they were able to demonstrate this merit, this academic scholarship. Okay. So our curriculum, as I mentioned, is based on the learning community experience with cohorts, and we have, as a result, also a dedicated faculty. We have carefully hand-selected faculty who work with these students, and the faculty we work together to support the students, to build our syllabi and curriculum together. So these are faculty that are specifically assigned to work with this program. Along with that, we have dedicated counseling. Right? We have counselors who are used to working with scholar students who are assigned to our students specifically to help them through these courses, to help them gain transfer scholarships, to help them figure out where they want to go next, all that stuff. As part of this program, we have a very student-friendly student-to-faculty ratio. Typically, if you go off to a four-year school, uh, I myself sat in lecture halls with like 300 other students, maybe more. It was really easy to get lost. If you go off to Maryland right away, you end up, the first 2 years, oftentimes in a classroom with 300 students. So what we offer, not only is it a smaller class size, we have a 5-to-1 faculty ratio where it's a very intimate experience between faculty and students. What that also means is a stronger relationship, more support for the students, and when it comes time to write letters of recommendation, these faculty know your students better than anybody else, right? And they'll be able to write the strongest letters of recommendation. I myself am still writing letters for students who just graduated and they're now applying to do other things after they transfer. So that kind of gives you a quick overview of the program. High impact activities. So the Scholars Program, again, it's an interdisciplinary program where we look at education as a holistic experience. It's not just what happens in the classroom. So in addition to our honors curriculum, we also provide a number of activities that are designed to provide a high impact educational experience for our students. So they include, for example, roundtables where we invite guest speakers to come do presentations. In the past, we've had a 2-time Grammy Award winner come do a talk on music of the Great Depression. More recently, we had another musician come to perform for the students. We've had a museum curator come to talk about some aspects of art. We've had one of our alum. He normally comes every year. He's currently a chef, or he's an instructor at a culinary academy, and he'll perform a culinary experience for the students and talk about some aspect of culinary arts. Okay, so there's a wide range of activities that we provide. Again, this is specific to our students in the Montgomery Scholars Program, where we try to round out the educational experience. So the roundtables, we also hold philo cafes, what we call philo cafes. Those are an opportunity for our first year students to come together and basically bond over a shared experience. So we gather them together. There's food, there are beverages, and we have them basically ask questions, and we try to answer them best as we can. It's an opportunity for them to share ideas, talk with each other, build more connections, and also get to know the faculty better, right? In a very casual, informal setting. As part of our first year curriculum, we also provide curated visits to museums down at the National Mall. We typically take them to a Library of Congress, and we've visited a number of different museums down there, such as the African American Museum, various ones that also tie into the classroom experience. Our students also get updates on internship opportunities available to them. We send out information about upcoming transfer opportunities, scholarship opportunities, and internship opportunities. And many of our students participate in prestigious internships. A number of them have gone on to do the Johns Hopkins Collaboratory over the summer, as well as internships at NIST. So that's something, again, our students kind of have just like a pipeline that's given to our students where they see all these opportunities and they're able to take advantage of them more regularly. Between the first and second years, we bring our students on summer study travel seminar. So over the course of 10 days, we take our students, and this is pending, I always have to say this is pending operational status and budget, but outside of COVID, we have always done it every year. Okay? Where we take our students, and for the past, I think, 10 years, we've brought them down to the Swannanoa Gathering in North Carolina at Warren Wilson College, where they participate in this music festival where they take classes on music, They participate in these workshops, get to hear lots of concerts, maybe play some music themselves, and they also get a chance to get a sense of the dorm experience. Right? Go down to North Carolina with the rest of your classmates. Um, you also visit a couple other places along the way, such as the Biltmore Estate, Thomas Wolfe House, and just kind of get to know each other on this road trip. And it is a honors travel seminar, so they're also tasked with writing about the experience along the way. It is a highlight of the program. Our students find it an invaluable experience. They come back, like they come back and they just feel like they've grown, like an extra couple of years within a week, in a good way, of course. But yeah, so that's our summer study travel program. The last thing on here is the Beacon Conference. So as part of the scholarship aspect of our program, every student in the second year is tasked with creating a capstone project, and they are to submit it to the Beacon Conference, which is a academic conference for honor students on the East Coast, okay, on the Atlantic Coast. So our students present their research, and if selected, or they submit the research, and if selected, they will then get to present at Beacon. Right? And Beacon Conference is a conference that's held at different cities each year. So if selected, they then go on road trip again to whichever school is being held, and they present their research at the conference. It's a great honors opportunity, a great scholarship opportunity, and again, it's something else that further distinguishes our students from different applicants when they're looking to transfer on to different schools. Here's just some photos to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that go on in the program. We have in the upper right corner, two-time Grammy Award winner Kathy Fish, who came to one of our roundtables. Musician Nista Raj, who came recently to do another performance. We have down here is our opening welcome to our first year students. In the first week, we bring in our students for a series of orientations. We also give them a one-day retreat, an off-campus retreat, an opportunity for them to get to know one another. So we participate in games and team building activities. And right then, you kind of just see these students get into the flow and start forming bonds with each other. We have a student at one of the museum visits we took to, and also some students when we had Mariano, who was the chef, and he came and did a performance with culinary arts, and people got to eat the result afterwards. I think that one's a presentation for Beacon. Okay. Our students tend to do very well, and they transfer on to various schools, certainly around the state, but also around the rest of the country. This is just a partial list of the various schools our students have transferred on to. This past May, the graduating class of 2022, one of our students went on to Yale after having received scholarship offers from other schools as well. Another student went on to Johns Hopkins. Many, maybe even most students go on to Maryland College Park, often with partial or full scholarships. So it's something we're very proud of. We are an interdisciplinary program, and that is to say our program provides a foundation you can use to pursue careers in just about any field. Okay? Our classes are built around the general education requirements that you have to fulfill. And so this is something that, these are requirements that you would have to fulfill regardless of whatever program you have to go on to. So our students go on to pursue careers in any number of fields. Okay? If you look at our alumni, they are teachers, computer coders, doctors, artists, researchers, all kinds of people. And here are, again, just a partial list of the various fields our alumni have gone on to work in. For our first year students, we're having an alumni panel do a presentation this Thursday. And for this year's panel, we have somebody who's running a dance studio, a pharmacist, a dental hygienist, a computer game designer, a legislative researcher. So it really spans like the whole spectrum. I'll talk a little bit about the curriculum in terms of what the students have to go through, what they go through as scholars here. So this is our curriculum. In the first year, they take 5 classes, 4 of which, the first 4, are part of that learning community I talked about. Okay? So anthropology, world history, world literature, and world music, those are all integrated into one course where everything is taught together. Okay? And on top of that, there's the English component, first year composition. And then there will be also the opportunity to take various electives or whatever other classes your student would like to take towards their field. So the bulk of our coursework is concentrated in the first year. And then in the summer, there's the travel seminar. And in the second year, there's another learning community that's integrated between an international relations class and our capstone project class. So those two are a learning community, they're combined and taught together. Okay. So the bulk of the coursework is in the first year. The second year essentially is an opportunity for them to build a capstone project and then use the rest of the time to take all the courses they need to fulfill their major requirements. And I think that's it for the general overview and the curriculum. But beyond that, I would like you to hear from our students, okay, who may give you a more relatable idea of what it's like to be in this program. So at this point, I would like to ask David Berger, our first year student, to come up and give you a little idea of what it's like for him to be a Montgomery Scholar.
Good morning, everybody. I am David Berger. So I will just give my perspective so far. I remember being in your shoes last year, doing the college application process. Very stressful, but very exciting time. You're deciding, the next path in your life, where you're going to go. Um, and I just think that Montgomery Scholars, I didn't initially know where I wanted to go, but when I ended up in Montgomery Scholars, I realized it really was the place for me. Um, I'm a very humanities-based student, and I realize maybe not all of you are, but even if you are STEM focused, more of like the mathematical person, the concepts that you learn in this program, the things that you take with you along with you in this program, whether it be study habits or just what you learn from courses like anthropology or history or music, they go along with you in your life. You can carry them with you wherever you go. Um, and that's one of the biggest things for me to take away from even just my first few months in the program so far. Um, in high school, I struggled a little bit, with time management or skills like that. Um, but then when I got to scholars, I realized that, you know, I really had to apply myself and I was in charge of my success. And I had a whole league of other students who love learning just like me, who are in the same learning community as me. I mean, we're taking, the same classes and we have this experience that we're together. Um, they're all behind me, really supporting me throughout this. Um, so in addition to me and others developing all of our study habits, um, through this program, we also have, faculty, we have our advisors, we have our professors who are there for us. We go to their office hours and they aid us with that. So there's no feeling of like you're on your own that sometimes college can bring. There's a lot of, I have many friends who who may feel like a little bit lost or alone. Not here, but, in four-year institutions as well. Um, but I like to kind of brag about the scholars program because it's such an amazing experience, even outside of the classroom. We went to it was a museum of Asian art because we were learning about those concepts in our in our music class, in our history class. Um, we got to explore calligraphy, and like Islamic proverbs and things like that. We got to look at statues. We got to look at like architecture, Korean architecture. It was so engaging and so interesting. And the professors really they encourage you to engage with the substance, with the material, um, outside of the lecture as well. And you have this whole community with you where, we have a group chat and we talk about, we talk about some of the things, some of the concepts that we've learned like in our courses, and we apply them. And it's really, really fun, and it's really, really engaging. And that's something I've taken away from my first year experience. I've just grown so far, and I'm continuing to grow. um, I've made so many amazing friends going into college. I was a little bit worried about making friends and things like that, Um, but even from like the first retreat when we went up to Boyd's to the little Seneca Lodge, I mean, I made so many friends just there. And I realized so many people like me, um, so many opportunities to grow and learn. And that's really, I think, the core of it. There's so many more opportunities I'm going to be able to take, which the second year students will speak to you about going forward. Um, and I'm just very excited based off of that alone. Um, and yeah, that is pretty much my first year experience so far. Um, I encourage you all to look into Montgomery Scholars and definitely consider it. It's been very beautiful, and thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to speak with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Dr. Wang already did a. You stole all my thunder, man. You just like described this the summer study travel seminar. It's very adequately. But I'll just kind of recap again. My name is Professor Victor Provost. I am one of the core instructors. I teach the world music course. Um, and I also am one of the faculty members that will be accompanying you on our summer study travel seminar. This is a picture of our second years. So this past summer in front of the Biltmore estate, behaving like billionaires. So, um, our summer travel, whatever the whole name of it is, summer study travel seminar, is part of our honors curriculum. We spent 10 days on the campus of Warren Wilson College in Swannanoa, North Carolina, which is about 10, 12 minutes outside of downtown Asheville. Um, it's an incredibly beautiful place. You're in the Blue Ridge Mountains. You'll see some awesome pictures. And students get to engage in a number of learning activities. Probably the primary focus is the studies of either music, literature at the Swannanoa gathering. So this year we were there as part of Celtic Week, which means our students were taking instrumental lessons in penny whistle, fiddle, and violin, and singing traditional songs. But they were also for anybody who is music averse, like my mom. Love you, mom. Uh, there were lots of other courses that you could engage in, right? So, for example, um, I took a course called Masterclass in performance, um, Masterclass in artistry. There were classes on Gaelic literature, and you get to engage with these high level professionals in very close quarters. Uh, Aside from that, you can see we take some fun trips. So this was our that's Professor Dr. Swift Dickinson, who's one of the other faculty that accompany us, traversing a river in Cherokee country, North Carolina. So we start our visit with the Frontier Museum, uh, which is a stop in Staunton, Virginia, that has these different frontier experiences. So they have an Irish farm and a German farm and an American farm and also a West African Igbo village. Uh, And then we make our way, kind of continue down to Swannanoa, check in at Warren Wilson College, and you're assigned your dorm rooms. Like Professor Wang, Dr. Wang said, it's a kind of a live on campus experience, which is like super valuable for students at the Scholars Program because you get to feel what it is to live off campus or to live on campus, I suppose. Um, some of our second years said things like, "This is the first time I've had to do my own laundry, wash my own dishes." You grow up really quickly. But they also spent a lot of time, quality time together outside of the classroom. A few of them became ping pong experts. There was a lot of card games, a lot of card games. A lot of 10 or 12 people huddled around a very small computer screen to watch a movie together because there's no TVs, no video games, none of that. And so yeah, so we hang out together at Swananoa. They take these amazing classes. We head down into Asheville, North Carolina, kind of downtown Asheville, where we visit the home of Thomas Wolfe, the Thomas Wolfe House Museum, of course, the very famous American writer. Um, Apparently, we visited twice, and then we close out our trip with a visit to the Biltmore Estate, which is just an incredible, obscene reminder of what wealth can get you. Um, and the students really, really enjoy that visit because it provides tons of material for their IG pages. So um, I think that's it. It is a study program though, so a lot of this, all of those activities include reflective writing. We ask you to engage in in these activities from an academic standpoint and a reflective standpoint. The class actually runs over the course of the whole summer two semester. So when you come back, you'll typically have some assignments, some writing assignments to work on. Thank you all so much.
Hello, I'm Danny,
Hi, I'm William.
Hello, my name is Julianne.
and we are students in the second year, and we want to talk about what our experience was like in Scholars Program heading into the second year. So, the beginning of our friendship started when we went on the retreat in Seneca Valley, in which is around I think 10 minutes from here. And in the beginning, we did not know each other. We came from different schools. We probably were in the same school, but we didn't either talk to each other or we saw each other in the hallway. But we didn't make a connection until we got into the retreat. And as you can see in those photos, we're making a tower, I believe, of marshmallows and spaghetti. But here, where we learn how to work as a team, and um, we shared with each other what were some of our fears of being in college, what are we not sure about, and we offered to support each other by creating a group me and talking about our problems and offering advice to each other. So what do we do outside of class? So aside from just doing readings or writing essays, we like to hang out wherever we go. So and make connections. So in the first photo right there, you can see we just had a Halloween party. This was from last year actually, and we just wore our costumes and we had a fun time. We watched some TV and we just found time to hang out for the Halloween season. And the second photo is where three of us. Oh, that photo is cropped. We can't see William's face. That photo is where we were hanging out at the spot, which is around 5 minutes from here. And we like to hang out and have lunch or have dinner sometimes outside of our normal class schedule. And the last photo right there is where, outside from our scheduled museum visits to learn about exhibits that relate to some of the lessons that we learn, we like to sometimes go out to DC and explore some of the monuments. So we really like to explore things that we are unfamiliar with outside of class.
So I just wanted to share a little bit about Swananoa and the trip that we take over in the summer. It really is one of the highlights of the entire Scholars Program, in my opinion. It was where I made a lot of my close friends that I have today in the program because our first semester here at MC was completely online, so it did take longer for all of us to create those bonds that usually happen like right off the bat. So that this trip really did help us, make that friendship that we couldn't do at the beginning. So here is just some photos that we took. Um, the second one is with one of our teachers that we have in the Celtic week that we spent at the Swananoa gathering. So I think yeah, that class was a singing class. And his name was David Curley, and he was like a very very. They're all very friendly, and they really made us feel very welcome there at the school. Um, in the next slide, these are some of the pictures that I took with some of my friends. The one on the far right is another teacher that was also really really friendly that helped us feel very welcome there at the school. This was us. There was the river, the Biltmore. It's really very beautiful there in North Carolina. It's someplace that I'd never been, and it was a really really great experience to go someplace that I don't think I would usually go to. So and also there's the museum and the river, and it was really just a really great experience for us all to get to know each other. Like Professor Provost said, there was the dorm experience that a lot of us have never had because we didn't go to a four-year university. So this trip really does provide us a glimpse of what a lot of us will then experience when we transfer to our universities or wherever we do in our future. So yeah, that was just a little bit of what you might get to experience if you decide to join the program, which I really do suggest that you do because it's a really really great experience.
Hi. So as Julianne said earlier, we did not have the first year experience we were expecting being virtual for the entire first semester, though the professors did do a lot to help encourage us to speak out in class and to try and get to know each other despite not being able to meet in person. And then we also ended up creating a group meet together, which it looks like the first years have followed again this time as well to also better get to know each other and schedule meetups outside of class in order to meet with each other in person so we can at least have some face-to-face contact um, before we began the second semester. And so some of our group messages included like just procrastinating, which I do not recommend at all. And also a lot of us just like keeping each other's spirits up during the time and posting like videos of music to help us study or just like posting study plans and memes and stuff as well. And so here are some of the memes that we posted in the group chat to lift our spirits that are relatable. So one of the biggest events as well with scholars is the winter solstice event, which is when we all get to see each other in person on campus. We also did say goodbye to Professor Sin this year. She was a really great professor for scholars, and then we got to kind of know each other a lot more, and also get to meet with some of the alumni and some of the second years, and find out what they're doing for their capstone project.
And right here, as William said, and I want to emphasize this more, we have the opportunity to bond with each other regardless of our majors. And I really encourage you guys to join the Scholars Program. And this is an experience that will change your life and will change how you view the first 2 years in college. That's all.
Good morning. I was just remarking to our second year students that it's kind of funny seeing your huge photo up there, but I'll get used to it. My name is Kelly Klein, and I am one of the Montgomery Scholars Program 2 counselors. Working with the bright and dedicated students and faculty in Montgomery Scholars has truly been the most fun and rewarding experience in my 30 years working in higher education. And so I really hope that those of you who are here today, the prospective students, will consider applying to join this very special community. To give you a little bit of background on how the Scholars Program and counseling works, as Professor Wang noted, every Scholars class is assigned a counselor. I am one of 2 of those counselors, so I currently work with our first-year students and will be staying with them through their graduation in the spring of 2024. Scholars are required to meet with their counselor at least once a semester so that we can do academic, transfer, and career planning. And this process starts the summer before you start your first year. That's when we really, start to get to know one another. And in our meetings, so obviously we'll talk about classes, we'll talk about your academic interests, and that's also a time where I can let you know about MC resources that might be here to help you. For example, if you're having issues with time management, we actually have a class that you can take for that. You feel like, hey, I'm coming to college, but I have absolutely no idea what I want to study. Fine, we actually have a career development course that you can take. Oh, you know what, I really feel like I would benefit from getting some individual support with my academic goals. Through our Achieving the Promise Academy, we have coaches who will work with you one-on-one. So there are lots of resources and support for you during your journey at MC. In addition to those meetings once a semester, your Scholars Counselor will have weekly office hours that are reserved just for scholars. So these are great opportunities to come check in, just let me know how things are going. I've also assisted students with a variety of personal and other challenges during these times. We've had students face food insecurity, and we've connected them to resources. I even had a student during the pandemic who was used to studying in the public library, and that no longer became an option. So I helped her find a desk so that she could have her own space at her home. So we, the other duties as assigned, we're definitely into that and helping you in every way possible. So considering whether to come not just to Scholars, but also this idea of coming to a community college, a lot of students and their families have questions about the next step, transfer. How does all of that work? Rest assured, making sure that all of you end up at an institution that's a good fit for you is a high priority for us. And that process starts again in that meeting where you'll meet with your counselor the summer before you start your freshman year. We will talk about if you already have ideas of where you may want to transfer. I remember particularly a student in my first class. I mean, literally, like, I had to do nothing for her. She came in and she said, oh yeah, I've heard about Scholars. I know someone who's a scholar. I'm already committed. This is definitely what I want to do. And I'm going to, after Scholars, I'm going to go to St. Mary's College of Maryland, where I'm going to double major in physics and education. And then I'm going to also get my I'm going to get my degree from St. Mary's, and then she was also going to stay at St. Mary's and get her master's degree in education. She did all of those things. She's now an honors history teacher at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. But don't worry if you said, oh, I'm probably not going to be that student. I don't know what I'm going to want to major in or where I'm going to want to go. That's why we're here. That's why we make the big bucks. We'll definitely help you. Yeah. Yes. But yes, we'll definitely, help you with that process wherever you are, in your journey. I also wanted to mention that we have a lot of resources available at MC to help you with this process of figuring out how the whole transfer thing works. One of them, for example, is called ArtSys. So for those of you who are thinking you may want to transfer to a public school in the state of Maryland, with ArtSys, you can look up course equivalencies. So anything that you take at MC, you can see, how is this going to transfer to Towson or UMBC or the University of Maryland or St. Mary's? ArtSys also has a feature called recommended transfer programs, where you can say, I'm at MC, I'm thinking about being a psychology major at UMBC, and it will show you every class that you can take at MC that will transfer into that major at that institution. So we're going to help you figure all of these things out. Now, even though I feel like I've done a very good job promoting Scholars and transfer, I'm guessing that some of you might be thinking, this sounds great, Professor Klein, but aren't I going to be at a disadvantage having gone to a community college in terms of getting to the school of my choice down the road? And I would say absolutely not. Professor Wang talked about some of the success of our current Montgomery Scholars, and it turns out that often our students are actually better positioned to go to their school of their choice having spent 2 years as a Montgomery Scholar. Think about it. Friends of yours who go on to the four-year institution, great, absolutely nothing wrong with that. They're going to be taking, some gen ed courses. They're going to be taking some courses in their major. You're going to be doing exactly the same thing as a Montgomery Scholar, but you're going to be in a small cohort where you're earning almost 30 honors credits, and you will have written I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but you're going to have written a 20-page research paper in your second year. I've worked in higher education my whole life, and I'm telling you, I don't know of any institution where second-year students are writing a 20-page research paper. This is very impressive. And just to quantify what I'm telling you, we had a student from the class of 2021. Her dream school was Georgetown. She applied as a high school senior, didn't get into Georgetown. It's extremely competitive. It's extremely competitive to get in also as a transfer student, but this student not only got into Georgetown after spending 2 years as a Montgomery Scholar, she did so with a scholarship. We also have 3 students from the class of 2022, so the class that just graduated, who earned were awarded UMD's most prestigious transfer scholarship, the Frederick Douglass Scholarship. It's a full ride tuition for 2 years of study at UMD. They only offer 30 of them, and Montgomery Scholars got 3 of them. And then a final example from the class of 2022. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation. They offer scholarships both for incoming first-year students and for transfer students. It's a nationwide scholarship. Students have to show significant financial need, and they also have to be just really incredible students, merit-wise, so it's both a merit and need-based scholarship. And we had our first Montgomery Scholars winner in the class of 2022. And this scholarship provides funding up to $55,000 per year to the school of your choice. So it's not, oh, I have to go to UMD. Oh, I have to go to Michigan State. No, wherever you get in, Jack Kent Cooke gives you $55,000 per year. And we had a Montgomery Scholar in the class of 2022 earn this. So yay, scholars. Scholars will take you anywhere. Now it's my pleasure. So speaking of, scholars, alums who've achieved glory, I am thrilled to be able to introduce to you our alumni speaker. I have known Jonathan Jays Green for 12 years because he was in my first Montgomery Scholars class. As a Montgomery Scholar, Jonathan was very active in the successful effort to pass the Maryland DREAM Act, and he has spent his entire career since working tirelessly as an advocate and activist for marginalized groups. What else was that? Oh, this is the other thing I was going to say, but I need to look at my notes because it's a little long. So if, as I'm sure is the case, you will want to learn more about Jonathan after hearing from them today, go to the Smithsonian Institution, the National Museum of American History, because Jonathan is profiled in an exhibit featuring the history, culture, and political power of Latinos in the United States. Without further ado, please welcome me in joining Jonathan Jays Green.
Good morning, everyone. Oh no, that was bad. That was weak. I think we can do better. Good morning, everyone. There we go. I am so honored to be here with you this morning. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's always so good to be home. I want to spend a little bit of time telling you a little bit about my personal story. My Montgomery, can you hear me okay? Oh, God, I hit the. Oh, wow, that is me in a big picture. There we go. So I'm going to be spending some time telling you a little bit about my personal story, a bit about my Montgomery Scholars story, my journey since being here and graduating from Montgomery College, and some of the lessons that I've learned 10 years out. I can't believe it's been 10 years since I graduated. So my family and I came to the United States from Panama, and I think that a lot of my journey in this country has been in relationship with the American dream. You know, we've all heard it, the idea that this is the country of opportunities, that if you just work hard, that anything is possible. And as a young immigrant, as a young, ambitious high school student, I was ready. So I worked really hard in high school, graduated at the top of my high school class, uh, really fell in love with the community, and became so grateful that so many folks were really invested in my success, that I got really involved in the community. I did over 1,000 community service learning hours. And at the end of my high school career, um, I started to realize that because of something that I couldn't control, my immigration status, that my path to higher education was going to be harder. Um, I will be really honest that Montgomery College wasn't my first option. It wasn't my second option. It wasn't my third option either, right? But I applied because one of the counselors in my high school said, "Hey, I know you're like set for the stars, you're gonna go places, but check out this program. It seems to be really special, it has a scholarship." And I'm so grateful that I got in. And even though I got into all the 4 year schools that I had applied to, almost all of them, because of my status, I couldn't afford to go to any of them. So I came to Montgomery College, and I will say that I was really humbled, right? Because I came with a lot of the stereotypes that there are out there about going to community college, especially as a top honor student. And what I found really surprised me. What I found was an incredible community, that even though Montgomery College wasn't my first option, I and every student that walked through its doors were the institution's first option. I found an institution where I could learn and be challenged and take really rigorous academic classes and learn about the world and really learn tangible skills that would follow me all of these years later. So of course I got involved. I started a student club. I was appointed by the governor to serve on the student board of trustees, help pass the Dream Act. I was doing it all because again, I was just so grateful that this institution and this program in particular saw me, saw my potential, and I wanted to give back. And since then, I went on to transfer to Goucher, I majored in sociology, and continue my work and my fight for racial and social justice. So, starting from working at the governor's office back in 2014, to eventually, after the murder of Freddie Gray, being called back to activism and co-founding an organization called the Undocu Black Network that organizes at the intersection of racial justice and immigration. And back in 2019, I think being really exhausted and really cognizant of the world that we live in, I became really called to protecting our democracy, right? And really thinking about, again, back to this concept of the American dream. I think while at times this country has been hard and has disappointed me, I think one of the lessons that I've learned in Montgomery Scholars is that, if we have a vision for this country and this world, that we can work on behalf of that vision. So for me, that has looked like, trying to elect candidates that reflect my views, building organizations that do work that feels close to my heart, and now in philanthropy, really helping move resources to those communities that are most impacted by the issues we're talking about. When I think about how my journey has been impacted by being a Montgomery Scholar just a little 10 years ago, there are three main lessons that I want to share with you. One, I think learning and embracing the intellectual rigor to wrestle with big ideas, but also daring to come up with solutions and working on behalf of those solutions. I think it's something that I learned here at Montgomery College. I think the second lesson and second gift that I've taken from this program have been lifelong friends. 10 years later, some of the closest people in my life, like the people that I call when something goes wrong, are other Montgomery scholars. Even as I moved away, I came back. Some of the folks have moved to other parts of the country. We still talk on a either weekly or monthly basis, and we really build really strong bonds that have carried me through all of these years. And I think the third lesson that I want to also share with you has also been really thinking about how the program, through the support that it offered me, helped me give me the freedom and support to design the life of my dreams. So for me, that has looked like being an active citizen of my community, being active in volunteering and political causes. For me, that's also looked like all the professional achievements, from the roles that I've played to now being at the Smithsonian, which, by the way, you should check it out. But also, most importantly to me, this building of this life of my dream has been really dedicating to a life of service. And I want to just leave you, as you're thinking about whether or not Montgomery College or Montgomery Scholars is part of your journey, I want to leave you with a poem that has ascended to sacred text in my life. It is a poem by a Black woman by the name of Lucille Clifton, and the title of the poem says, "Won't you celebrate with me?" And she says, "Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and women, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up here on this bridge between sunshine and clay, my one hand tied to the other. Won't you celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and it failed?" So as you think about your journey here at Montgomery College, think about this institution and this program as that bridge between starshine and clay that can help you build the life of your dreams. And I hope you consider it, and if you get in, if you're lucky to get in, please take it seriously and take advantage of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. That's amazing. I feel very fortunate to work with the students that we work with. It's a cliche where the student, the teacher's like, "Oh, amazing," but in this program, I feel it every day working with these students, that I'm supremely lucky to be able to work with the students that we have. One word that gets used frequently to describe the Montgomery Scholars Program is family. It does feel very much like a family. We are a close-knit group. We offer each other support. It's built to have this community aspect to it from the very beginning, and it just keeps going. I myself went to a big state school with 30,000 students, and I struggled at first, and being part of this program made me feel like, well, if only I had this kind of support, I could have done so much better, or something to that extent. But yeah, it's there's a lot of faculty, staff support to see our students achieve the best they can achieve. At this point, I'll talk a little bit about the application process. There's a deadline. It's January 8th, 2023. For our program to apply to Montgomery Scholars, there's a two-step process. It's not complicated. It's just the first step is you apply to MC. You had to do that to get an ID with MC. Okay, you apply to MC and you become an MC student. You just fill out the forms and you get your MC ID, and with that ID, then you apply for the Scholars Program. Okay, and that's not a complicated process. You just go to this URL, and it'll walk you through it. In your handouts, you also have the application guidelines. On our website, we have our application guidelines. You can download those at any time. But essentially, we ask that you fill out some fields, your name, etc., and you complete 2 essays. There are prompts for 2 essays, and we will need your high school transcript, some letters of recommendation, 2 required from a teacher, 1 recommended from a counselor. And we often get asked whether test scores are required. The SAT and ACT test scores are not required. They're recommended. Okay. It's good to have them, but you don't have to have them. Primarily, it helps us determine where you place in the English portion. So whether you place into English 101, English 102, that sort of thing. But it's a process where we look holistically at your entire application, your GPA, the letters, the stuff you've done outside of class, what you say about yourself in the letters recommendation. So, looks like a typical college application, I suppose. And if you have not taken the SAT or ACT, then we ask that you complete the remote placement process so that we get a sense of where you would place in English. Okay, it's a pretty straightforward application, but if at any point while going through this you have any questions, feel free to email us. We're here. You can call us as well. And our website has everything. But I understand, like, yes, the website has everything, but if you have a question, it's kind of like walking to a store, like, where can I find, the signs are there, but if you don't know, just ask. We're here. We're here to answer any questions you may have. We'd love to hear from you. Okay. Let's see. Before I wrap up, so I'm going to play a musical slideshow. So traditionally, our second year class is tasked with creating a musical slideshow to give you a sense of what it's been like for them to go through Scholars. So I'll play you that slideshow. And also, I just want to add that we also have people here from recruitment and also financial aid, all right, to speak with you if you're interested. And they encompass all of MC. So if you have any questions about MC, whether, any aspect of recruitment, entering MC or financial aid with MC, we have people here to work with you. Right? They're right there in the back over there. But yeah, and of course, myself and the faculty members and even the students you saw earlier, we're around. Come talk to us if you like. We'd love to hear from you. So that concludes the official portion of the info session. Again, we're around. We have recruitment, financial aid, and Montgomery Scholars faculty and staff and students. We're here. Feel free to mingle. There's plenty of food. Help yourself. Thank you for coming. Love to chat with you soon.